Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Keith Smith, the interim chair of the Department of Radiology, and for those of you who may not know me. And I don't really want to say too much because we have a lot of folks who want to speak, but I was thinking when Paul asked me to speak about Vickie, that Vickie's probably the person that I spent the most time at work with over the past 5 years. Working very closely with her on all the faculty promotions and hiring. And I think, I see many of your names, and I know that I saw many of you come by her office during that time. And I know, like me, that Vickie really touched your lives and that she was a true friend, and that you saw, as I did, that real sweetness and love in her. So anyway, I hope that you will enjoy this presentation, and Dan Boughton's going to coordinate the rest of the presentation for us. Thanks.
Thank you, Keith. Welcome, and thank you all for joining us today to celebrate the beautiful life of Vickie Ellis Holland. For those of you who may not know me, I'm Dan Boughton, the Associate Chair for Administration in the Department of Radiology. I had the privilege of working with Vickie for the nearly 13 years I've been in the department. More importantly, though, I was fortunate I was able to call Vickie a friend. I think that'll be a common theme you'll hear today. She truly was a special person, and I think we have a very nice tribute we've put together today that I hope you'll enjoy and find some comfort in. Before we really get rolling, I do have a few announcements. First, we are recording the service, and we'll be sharing with Vickie's husband, Daryl, brother Tim, and the rest of her family. With that said, we encourage you to use the chat feature to leave a message, memory, or story of Vickie. When using the chat, it's best to use the all panelists and attendees option to allow everyone to share in your memory. If you're not comfortable sharing with everyone, you can use the all panelists option, and only today's speakers will see the message. Either way, though, the message will be recorded to share with her family. Next, I'd like to say thank you to all of our speakers today, to those who have contributed videos, pictures, and performances, and to those who have reached out in support to Daryl, the family, our department, and all of us who love and miss Vickie. With that said, let's move into the next part of our service. Our next two speakers today are Dr. Matt Morrow, President of UNC Faculty Physicians and former chair of our department, and Bob Colicchio, our former Associate Chair for Administration. Both worked with Vickie for over a decade, and I know the mutual respect each had for her and she for them. Unfortunately, they were both unable to join us at this time, but did pre-record a message.
Thank you for the opportunity to say a few words about a very special person. Vickie came to the Department of Radiology from anesthesia and was a principal HR officer of the department throughout my term as chairman. Jack Welch, the ex-CEO of GE, stated in his management book that your HR officer was one of the most important individuals in the organization. Why? Because a business's success is based on their people, not their possessions. And that's true for the Department of Radiology as well. Our success was based not on our shiny equipment, but on our people. And Vickie was a big part of that. Our department's most difficult times over my years as chair were centered on HR issues. And Vickie was always there to help and guide us through those difficult times. Vickie's office was just 2 doors down from the department's executive offices, located strategically across from the men's restroom. Vickie always had her door open unless she was having a personal, private conversation. She would routinely catch me either entering or exiting the restroom to sign some HR papers or discuss an HR issue. She routinely aided or even performed the work of others in the department without recognition. Vickie was our helper T-cell. In the early part of 2013, my wife and I were recovering from a very serious automobile accident. We were pretty banged up. Pat had casts on both arms and I was using a walker. We were unable to drive. Naturally, there were HR papers to file and issues to deal with. Vickie and Dory Lassiter, who at that time was with the university, came to our house to guide us through all the paperwork. We would not have been able to perform all those duties without their help. Because of the close proximity of our offices, I would find myself walking down to Vickie's office every day, taking a seat in one of her chairs and just having a chat about anything and everything. It was a tremendous stress reliever for me. Vickie was my personal departmental psychiatrist. I always felt much better when I walked out of her office compared to when I walked in. I will miss Vickie dearly. We lost one of the good ones. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. For those that do not know me, I'm Bob Colicchio, former administrator, the Department of Radiology. I was in the position that Dan Boughton currently holds under the leadership of Dr. Matt Morrow and Dr. Paul Molina. First and foremost, I want to offer my deepest condolences to Daryl and the family. We're very sorry for your loss and keeping you in our thoughts. Like most new radiology employees, Vickie was the first person I met in 2005. She was the face of the department, and I was very, very impressed with her, how welcoming she was to me, how at ease she made me feel. And little did I know I would be working with her very closely for the next 12 or 13 years, actually. And during that time is when I really got to know her well. She had a deep compassion and caring for all people, faculty, staff, housekeepers, everybody. Vickie was friends and compassionate with all of them. I'd just offer an example of this. I remember faculty members and staff members coming to my office with problems, coming to me. I would, of course, go directly to Vickie. We would to get her advice, and she would calmly tell me, "Bob, I already know about that. I've got it covered." Meaning that they've gone to her before they even came to the department leadership, which makes sense. And one day I would go knock on her door many times during those years, and 99% of the time there was somebody in there seeking her advice or her help. That's the best example of the compassion that Vickie had for everybody in our department and elsewhere. So Vickie, I will miss you. I'll always remember you. Daryl, I'll offer my thoughts and prayers to you and your family. Thank you all for having me, folks. Take good care.
I personally chuckle a little myself hearing Dr. Morrow mention the men's room, as I, and I'm sure many of you, have seen Vickie stalking the door waiting for him to come out to speak with him about whatever the pressing issue was at that moment. Next, we'll move to the next item on our agenda. We have a special performance by one of our multi-talented staff members, Michelle Clark. She will perform Serenade, which is a piece from a collection of lieder called Schwangesang by German composer Franz Schubert. One of his most famous art songs, it depicts a young lover calling his beloved, who presumably is at her window looking down. The text includes several common themes from German classical and romantic era poetry, such as the frequent mention of images from nature, moonlight, rustling trees, the midnight tryst in a grove, and of course, nightingales. the ultimate symbol of love in the early 19th century German poetry. Michelle selected this piece not only because it is a personal favorite of hers, but also because she felt it expressed the enduring, yet youthful and evergreen bonds of love that Vickie and Daryl shared. Please welcome Michelle Clark. Thank you, Michelle. That was a beautiful tribute to Vickie and Daryl. As Bob alluded to previously, Vickie had a compassion in caring for all. She took tremendous pride in her work and those she served. Through this compassion and pride, she developed many close relationships with many of our faculty. Two of those faculty are our next speakers. Dr. Mauricio Castillo, Distinguished Professor of Radiology and former Division Chief of Neuroradiology, and Hortensia Alvarez, Professor of Radiology.
Well, good afternoon to all of you, and thank you for allowing Hortensia and I to say some words in remembrance of Vickie. What I'm going to say comes from both of us, although it's me speaking. First, we would like to express how sorry we feel about this to Daryl, to the rest of Vickie's family, including Tim, her brother, and also want to thank Tim for taking the time to keeping us informed of what was going on with Vickie during these last months. From work, I also want to thank Lisa and Cherry and Krista, as I had multiple conversations with them regarding what was going on with Vickie. When Orte and I think about Vickie, there are three words that immediately come to mind. One is care, the other one is comfort, and the last one is dignity. So let me begin with care. She was a caring person and someone who always looked after us too, and many of you. She never stopped being nice to us and treating us with care and affection. Every time we now walk past her closed office door, we recall how she always had something nice to say to us, whether it be about the shoes we were wearing, about the clothes we were wearing, or about what a nice couple we make. She always said something nice every single day. But she always let us know when she was not happy with us. She was very subtle when she was upset with me. Many times because I had been in her office complaining about doing administrative things that I did not want to do, or constantly asking her to tell me some gossip about what was going on. And you should know that she never gossiped. Despite how many times I told her to tell me something, she always kept it privately, and she always told me, you can tell me anything you want, I will never repeat it. On those occasions when she stopped saying nice things to me, she rather told me every time that I saw her, you better be nice to your wife, because I love Orte and I will be very angry with you if you do something to upset her. So it took me some time to realize that this is how bad she would get. She would only say things about Orte when she was upset with me. She was very subtle. She was a very discreet person. Second word is comfort. She offered us comfort. In a way, a mother always comforts her children, and in a way, we were all her children, regardless of her age. Whenever there was something that needed to be done that seemed complex or bureaucratic, she always laid it down easy and offered to help. And I don't think that Orte and I will have health insurance if it wasn't for the multiple times that she helped me with it. I know that many of our new attendings received their initial guidance from her, and for many of you, she was the first person you came in contact with in our department. And she was very helpful to us as we entered promotions, and particularly as we're entering the last part of our professional lives. Last is her dignity, which stayed with her until the very end. I cannot remember exactly when it was, 5 or 6 years ago, when she started having some neck pain and some arm pain. And after several studies, we discovered, and I think it was me who read that study, that she had a lesion in one of her humerus, the top of the arm. She understood the gravity of the issue, but despite that, she never stopped coming to work. She never used her condition as an excuse to stop helping others, and we never saw her complain. It was easy to forget how sick she was, gravely sick, because of the way she behaved, with dignity and keeping her compassion and care for all of us. I am sure that like Orte and I, many of you, my colleagues, our co-workers, and especially her family, miss her tremendously and will continue missing her for a long time. But that is what we should be doing with a person like Vickie. We should miss her forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Castillo and Dr. Alvarez. Vickie also has a special place in the hearts of so many staff, not only in radiology, but our friends in anesthesiology, where Vickie worked prior to coming to radiology, and across the entire School of Medicine. Many of those were gracious enough to record short videos. The video compilation is set to Amazing Grace, with the introduction again played by our own Michelle Clark.
Vickie was always quick with a smile and an embrace. And you could tell when you stopped in to visit with her that you had her full attention. She was truly selfless, the most loving, caring person I've ever known. And I have an empty place in my heart. We miss you, Vickie.
Genuine describes Vickie. When you speak with her, you know who she really is. She often called me an endearing nickname, and I know that she cares.
I can't think of a more perfect career for Vickie than human resources. The care and commitment that she had for the faculty and staff, and her friendships and enthusiasm for fun will never be forgotten among the School of Medicine HR community.
What I'll remember the most about Vickie is how she could light up a room with just her smile. She had the best sense of humor and would always make our team laugh.
There are many words to describe Vickie. One word that comes to mind is friend. I always enjoyed going into her office and laughing with her. She had a very infectious laughter, and I could even hear it from my office. Love you, Vickie.
She was thoughtful and smart, compassionate, very generous, loyal, committed, wanted to treat people with respect and with fairness. I loved her, and I will miss her so much. She will forever be in my heart, and she touched so many people in the School of Medicine, and she will always, always be remembered.
I'll always remember Vickie for her big, kind, and genuine heart. She was always caring for other people and worried about their well-being, all while fighting her own courageous battle. We miss you so very much, Vickie.
Vickie was the epitome of what it means to lead from a servant's heart. I learned from Vickie to always start with others in mind first and figure out ways to how I can serve them best.
She taught me to find the good in people. Everyone has good. Some it's harder to find than others, but there's good in everyone, and she taught me to look for it and to find it. If you genuinely got to know Vickie, you know that when she welcomes you into her circle, you are no longer a friend, but your family. And Vickie will forever be part of my family.
Vickie was the first person I ever spoke to at UNC before I started my role in the School of Medicine, but she left such a lasting impression on me. Her genuine care anytime she was asking me how my family was doing or what was new with us always came from a place of her heart. And her selflessness was so inspiring to me. I'll always cherish the great smiles and laughs we had catching up in her office together, and she'll be missed dearly.
I'll always remember my friend Vickie for her selfless service, always wanting to help others, her endearing spirit, and that smirky grin. She has her wings now.
Thank you all. It's clear the lasting impression Vickie made on us all. Another example of that is the breadth of her impact across people's lives is the more than 125 people that have joined in today to tribute to Vickie. Our next speaker is someone that I have tremendous respect for, and I know Vickie and all of us do as well. Our former Executive Vice Chair, Dr. Paul Molina.
Good afternoon, everyone. I had the good fortune of getting to know and working closely with Vickie for many, many years. And like most everyone in the audience today, I have many fond memories of her. Here are some of my personal favorites. Walking down the hallway of second floor Old Clinic, seeing Vickie outside her office with a big smile on her face, giving a big friendly hug to a new faculty member on their first day of work. A faculty member that she had no doubt spent countless hours behind the scenes bringing on board. Indeed, as a number of my colleagues have already stated, Vickie was often the first welcoming face of the department, and she was such a terrific ambassador for all of us. I remember the many relatively thankless things that she would do without fanfare on behalf of the department and all its members. Making the extra phone call to a local realtor to ensure that everything was set for an important family visit by a prospective faculty recruit. Cleaning up the mess left in the chairman's conference room prior to the next conference call, Zoom meeting, or interview. On many occasions, staying late after regular work hours to help facilitate phone calls and meetings with fellow or faculty recruits in other international time zones. Time and time again, taking on extra duties and projects in order to help others, despite knowing that doing so would most likely put her behind schedule with her own work responsibilities. And no matter how busy she was, always leaving her office door open for the next faculty member, staff member, colleague, or friend in need of a listening ear. And oh, what a listener she was. Patient, thoughtful, comforting, and understanding. I was a beneficiary of that listening ear on many an occasion. Invariably, whenever we would confidentially discuss the latest departmental personnel issue, I could always count on Vickie to be quick to point out both sides of the story, to give others the benefit of the doubt whenever possible, and to advise on the side of understanding and compassion. I learned so much from her. Her caring, generous spirit is something I will always remember about Vickie. I will remember her warm smile and good morning greetings as she waited for me to catch up with her so that we could walk together into work through the loading dock entrance of the old clinic building. I will remember the countless times that I returned to my office having missed lunch due to clinical responsibilities in the chest reading room or the CT biopsy suite, only to find a sandwich, a salad, or a surprise dessert on my desk. Vickie had once again managed to tuck away some treats for me from that day's faculty or staff luncheon, and she knew what a sweet tooth I had. I will remember the supportive texts, emails, and phone calls that we shared with one another as she fought her courageous battle with cancer. Like Jimmy V, she never gave up. And in particular, I will always remember the last conversation that we had just a few weeks ago. Vickie had been admitted to Durham Regional Hospital with shortness of breath, and there was concern that she might not make it out of the hospital at that time. I was so thankful that she took my call because, as appropriate for her, she had stopped answering her phone, text, or emails at that time. She sounded better than I expected, still in good spirits, and determined to keep fighting. But there was also a certain peacefulness in her voice. And she told me that she was ready to go, Paul, if it was God's will. Her only request was that we please look after her husband, Daryl. Dear sweet Vickie, we all miss you dearly. Rest in peace, and with the assurance that all of your many friends will be here for Daryl as you and our Lord Jesus Christ watch over us from heaven. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Molina. Next up is someone who all of us in the School of Medicine know and love. She's worked for many years with Vickie, and like many, built a special bond and friendship with her. The Director of Human Resources in the School of Medicine, Ms. Bonnie Smith.
Good afternoon, everyone. What a tribute this service has been to Vickie. Just another reminder of how special she was to so many people. And all of you being here today to celebrate her life is truly a testament to the kind of person she was. I wish we were all together under different circumstances, but I am glad we are together. When I first met Vickie, she greeted me with a big smile and a hug, and I don't think I was ever around her after that where we didn't exchange hugs. We had spoken on the phone many times prior to that first face-to-face meeting in the mid-90s, as I was a recruiter at the Office of Human Resources, and she worked in anesthesiology. Eventually, I worked my way through other jobs on campus before joining her in the School of Medicine, where I had the opportunity to spend more time with her and got to know her better. She worked in anesthesiology for 11 years before moving to radiology in August of 2004. I never missed an opportunity to pop in on Vickie while walking through Old Clinic so that I could see her, see that smirky grin of hers, and get my hug. Even when she was sick, she didn't want to talk about it much or dwell on it other than to say she was going to fight it with all she had. What she really wanted to talk about was how I was doing. How are my kids? And how are my grandkids doing? And also, did I have pictures? That was just her way. As you've heard previously, Vickie was destined to work in the HR field. She loved working with people. She had a servant's heart, and she always put other people's needs first. And she knew we are all here to make good things happen for others. I want to share two fond memories with you. The first is about the School of Medicine HR tours. The idea for the tours was to invite colleagues from main campus HR, payroll, and other central offices to come spend a few hours with us and see the wonderful and amazing work being done by our faculty and staff. We believe the more you know your customers, the better you are prepared to support them. So we'd have them tour a basic sciences lab in pharmacology, and then walk over to tour a clinical department, radiology, and walk through the hospital. Well, Vickie, she really took this to heart. So in addition to showcasing the work of the faculty and staff in radiology, and because she was such a people person and party planner, wanting everyone to be treated well and fed, she organized a lunch to be served to everyone after the tour was over. So not only were our colleagues able to learn more about the School of Medicine, they were able to relax, enjoy a nice lunch, and spend more time learning about us as individuals. This was a relationship builder, much more than a tour, and it's in large part because of Vickie. I know we'll continue to hold these in the future, though we'll deeply miss her presence. The second memory is about the team building activities she held in her office. Okay, they were dance parties. Okay, when I received my first invitation, I was very intrigued because it was complete with a secret knock you needed to know for entering, and you had to have a ticket. So lots of thoughts were going through my head. For one, we're HR. It's the middle of the day. How can we be having a dance party, right? And then I thought, well, it's in an office. Not too many people could be there. How can you have a dance party in an office? I was really curious. So I popped in, I knocked. I wanted to see what this was all about. And after gaining entrance, I stood there amazed at the number of people in the room, the smorgasbord of food and drinks that were available, and everyone having a great time together. It was awesome. Somehow there was still room for dancing. That was Vickie. She just wanted to take care of everyone. And again, to make sure everyone had a good time and that everybody was happy. It's been said that when someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. I encourage you all to share the treasure that was Vickie. Share the stories that you have of her, and she's going to live in our hearts forever. I know I'm a better person for having known Vickie, and it's a safe bet you feel the same way. My faith assures me that I'll see Vickie again, and that's extremely comforting to me. Knowing her, she'll have a big dance party planned with lots of great food. To her husband, Daryl, brother Tim, and sister-in-law Lisa, her nephews and nieces, aunts and uncles and friends, you'll all continue to be in my thoughts and prayers. I want to end by reading a short poem entitled, What Cancer Cannot Do. Cancer is so limited. It cannot cripple love. It cannot shatter hope. It cannot corrode faith. It cannot destroy peace. It cannot kill friendship. It cannot suppress memories. It cannot silence courage. It cannot invade the soul. It cannot steal eternal life. And it cannot conquer the spirit. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. It was truly an honor, and I thank you all for being here.
Bonnie. Before we wrap things up this afternoon, I'd like to say a few brief words myself about Vickie and then make a special announcement. First, as has been mentioned by many people previously, as the HR manager, Vickie was the face of our department. For most of us, she was our first contact, and in many cases, started to build a rapport even before we arrived on campus. Her personality and compassion, along with her desire to help people, came together in such a special way. She immediately made you feel welcome and like an important member of our family. And for that, Vickie, the department and I are forever grateful. Thank you. On a more personal note, we all know Vickie loved kids. I personally think it's because she was a big kid herself. My youngest son, who is now 8, is someone who has always just adored Vickie, and she adored him as well. Throughout his life, she would constantly ask to see pictures of him, often getting angry with me because I hadn't done my job to take enough pictures, or what she felt was enough pictures of him to document, to show her. I, like many of you know, her motivation was twofold. One, she loved kids, she loved him, and she simply wanted to see his growth or what he was getting into at the time. More importantly, though, through her selfless and giving nature, she was giving me a gift. A gift of this wonderful visual documentation of my son's childhood. For that, Vickie, I can never thank you enough. Vickie, as you would always say to me, I love you, but not in a weird way. So that brings me to a special announcement that I'm truly excited about. I'd like to announce that the Department of Radiology will be creating an annual staff award to honor and memorialize Vickie and all that she meant to us. The award will honor all the hard work, pride, generosity, and selflessness that Vickie displayed day in and day out. The award details have not been fully finalized and approved as of yet, so more to come in the near future. Before we move to conclude our service, I want to say one final thank you to Paul Marini. Paul's worked tirelessly over the last few weeks to put together much of what you've seen here today. He set up the Zoom call, figured out all the intricate details, sent the invites, edited and put together videos to the music and all, and much, much more. Thank you, Paul, for all that you've done to help put this tribute together. And now to wrap up our service, We have a picture montage set to the song Landslide by Fleetwood Mac, which has a special meaning to Vickie and Daryl, followed by closing remarks by Paul Marini. Thank you all.
Took my love, took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills, till the landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Oh, I'm getting older too. Ah, take my love, take it down. Ah, climb a mountain and turn around. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, where the landslide bring it down. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, a landslide bring it down. Oh, the landslide bring it down.
Vickie, your life was a blessing, your memory a treasure. You are loved beyond words and missed beyond measure. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Paul Marini, and I am the business manager for the Department of Radiology. I've been so moved by everyone's sentiments today to honor one of my closest coworkers from the past 5.5 years, my dear sweet friend, Vickie Holland. For those who helped plan this memorial service and contribute to the various elements, I appreciate your time and strength to participate in such a difficult feat, while we are still mourning the loss of our beloved friend and coworker. Today's virtual memorial service has brought together over 125 people from, of course, the faculty, staff, and trainees from the Department of Radiology, the tight-knit School of Medicine HR community, others from the School of Medicine that cared so much about Vickie, coworkers from across UNC Health and the rest of UNC's Chapel Hills campus that had the privilege to work with Vickie. And lastly, Vickie's ever-loving, forever faithful family, all united around the love we share for Vickie and the impact she's had on our lives. In preparing for what I'm about to share with you, I took some time and went to the tribute wall of Vickie's obituary on the Clements Funeral Services website. Wow. I mean, it's so moving to read so many beautiful thoughts and feelings filled with many common characteristics about Vickie that has impacted us all. She was a special person, trusted, respected, beloved, kind, loving, generous, genuine, huge heart, always caring for others, glowing personality, sage counsel, a guardian angel watching over others. She was a bright light, a warm spirit, had the gift of connecting others. She would light up a room, a laugh like sunshine. And she was the first person I met at UNC. It made me feel like family. You know, that last attribute that I just said, she was the first person I met at UNC and made me feel like family. That means something very special and personal for me, and is a big part of how my wife and I are now part of the School of Medicine. In 2013, after Bree and I just left our jobs at Wegmans in New Jersey, we moved down to North Carolina, and I was able to secure employment pretty quickly doing technology sales. However, Brianna wanted to continue her career in human resources and did not want to settle for just any job. The Cliccio family had been very close to the Marini family for many, many years. And so Bree had a conversation with Bob Cliccio, who you heard from earlier, about her desire to stay in HR at a reputable institution. That, of course, got Bob's wheels turning to eventually petition Brianna's aptitude in HR to Tara Coble-Herring in the School of Medicine HR. But Bob, being the thoughtful person he is, decided to first connect Bree with his HR person, Vickie Holland, for Bree to get a flavor of what it's like to work in the School of Medicine. Vickie devoted over an hour of her time to speak with my wife, who was a complete stranger to Vickie, where they had meaningful conversation about working at UNC Chapel Hill, working in an academic medical center, and being part of the School of Medicine. But that wasn't what impacted Bree from their conversation. No, I can remember coming home from work that night. Bree ran up and hugged me, smiled, and then said, "I don't care what it takes. I need to work at UNC's School of Medicine." And I was asked what stirred such a strong conviction in her. And she said, "I spoke with this lady, Vickie Holland, who took the time out of her day to tell me about what it's like at UNC and in HR at the School of Medicine." Then Bree said, "But you know what stuck with me? Vickie was so warm and genuine, like how you would be with a family member. I felt immediately connected to what was going on in School of Medicine because of Vickie, and I wanted to be part of that." That was about 7 years ago, and that led Brianna to interviewing and joining the School of Medicine HR team, and eventually me joining the School of Medicine Finance and Business Operations office at that time in 2014. But who knows where Bree and I would be today if it wasn't for Vickie's genuine, kind, and welcoming spirit on that day in December 2013. So here we are in December 16th, 2020, just 28 days from Vickie's passing. It's been tough, really tough for all of us. My heart goes out to the staff in radiology, my team. My heart goes out to them, as I firsthand seen and been part of the depth of grief that these individuals have been going through. My heart goes out to my radiology leadership, faculty, and trainees, as I know Vickie has impacted each of their lives in a way that only Vickie could. To the School of Medicine HR community, I'm so appreciative, more than you know, for how you've collectively supported my department through this time while you are all dealing with your own individual grief. I know Vickie was so grateful and proud to have been part of your tight-knit group. And to the others from School of Medicine, UNC Health, the greater UNC Chapel Hill campus, as well as anyone else who knew and had been touched by Vickie, thank you for being here today to be part of this special time. I lastly send my deepest and most sincere condolences to my friend Daryl, as well as Tim, Lisa, Justin, and anyone else from the Ellis and Holland family. Y'all have been through so much, and I know today has carried significant weight. Thank you for letting us memorialize and honor Vickie. With how hard this has been, I am comforted to know Vickie is where Vickie is today. Vickie and I are both of the Christian faith. I would treasure our one-on-one conversations where we would be in her office, lifting each other up, encouraging and edifying each other. During the 2.5 years when Vickie and I would discuss her health condition, she would always say, "You know, Paulie," she would say, "You know, Paulie, God has a reason for this, and I place my trust in him. My faith is in Jesus, so I know where I'm going once I leave this earth." And then she would always pause, look me in the eye, and then smile with an unmistakable sense of comfort and confidence. I find peace knowing that she is freed from the pain from this earthly body, and she is now with her Lord. So then here we are today, here to honor and memorialize Vickie because she is no longer with us. But is that really the case? I want to share one of the most impactful ideas when dealing with grief that has helped me through the various losses I've gone through in the past 2 years. After the dust has settled from the passing of a loved one, we eventually are told, or maybe we tell ourselves, it's time to move on. It's time to get over this. But that's just not how it works. We don't want to move on from Vickie. That would be as if her life was defined by just moments in the past that we then leave behind. That means as time continues, we move further and further away from Vickie. No, that can't be it. So what I learned was that we must move forward. We move forward with Vickie. We move forward through the grief with Vickie. Can't you see? Vickie is going to remain present in our lives in all the small things we associate with her. We will see her everywhere. And I, for one, am not going to just move on from those small things that are Vickie. I'm going to move forward. How many times did you hear today from each person that spoke during our service or shared a thought in the video that described Vickie as selfless, kind, generous, caring, and loving? These characteristics of Vickie are her final gift to us, her final way of putting others, us, first in her life. And here's an example of what I mean. Vickie had the biggest heart that just overflowed with love. What are we going to do with the love she showed us? What would Vickie want us to do? Move forward with her, living bigger lives through the love we have been shown from Vickie, and then share that love with others, because love grows love. So take any one of those characteristics, or frankly, take all the attributes of Vickie. Take all your memories. Take all that you've learned from Vickie. Put a bow on it if you like, but then cherish that gift, honor that gift, and move forward with that gift. Vickie, I thank you for the gift you've given me, and I vow to forever honor and cherish this gift. I love you, Vickie. So this concludes our time together today. I want to thank everyone for being part of this memorial service. As I wish we were all could have gathered physically in one location, I'm grateful we have the technology, or we could be part of this special time together. I leave you with one final thought. One of the most repeated characteristics about Vickie I heard today was her selflessness, putting others first. So don't just hold on to the gift Vickie has given to you for yourself. Take this gift, use this gift, and share this gift with others. That's how we honor Vickie. And that's how we move forward with Vickie. Thank you very much for joining, and I wish you all a blessed evening. I'm going to put back up the picture of Vickie and some songs. I'm going to be on here for a little bit longer.
Please feel free to go into the chat if there's any last thought, condolence message you'd like to send to the family. And again, I just want to thank you all for joining today. Thank you.